shit. It flew away. Howdy. Welcome to another video I'm doing here. So tomorrow, me and a buddy of mine are going out to one of the rivers on Fort Hood and go do some catfishing, some bass fishing. Catfishing we plan on doing is going to be dropping some jug lines. Excuse the dog there, he's kind of retarded. But thought I'd show you how I make some of these catfish noodles. They're kind of like jug lines, but we call them noodles because they're made out of pool noodles. So what you're going to need is you're going to need pool noodle, of course, some PVC pipe, some large weights. I got some 3-ounce no rolls that I got from my buddy Kevin Norris, some circle hooks, some heavy fishing line. You use braid or mono, it's up to you. I made some with 50-pound mono. Today we're using 65-pound braid. Some super glue, and I didn't pull them out yet, but some swivels. Last thing I recommend is that you get yourself a paper plate or something to do your gluing over. If not, you're going to spill glue on the table. I've done that previously, and I'll tell you from first-hand experience that when you do that, the wife gets pissed. Alright, so I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence and show you how to cut PVC pipe or cut a pool noodle, so I've already gone ahead and done all that ahead of time. The other thing I did is I drilled a hole in the PVC here for your line to go through. Once again, I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence to show you how I drilled a hole in a piece of PVC pipe. I'm pretty sure if you got a half a brain, you can figure that out on your own. Now, if you only got half a brain and you can't figure it out on your own, sorry, I ain't got nothing for you. So, your first step, take your piece of PVC and using the end that you do not have a hole drilled into, you want to kind of run some super glue down the pipe, let it roll around a little bit. And of course, do this over the paper plate, that way any drips fall on the paper plate, not your wife's nice dining room table. And then you're just going to go ahead and shove the PVC up onto your noodle, leaving about an inch on there, maybe 2. Now, other people do this other ways where they'll take and put a cap on there and a piece of rebar in there and caps and eye bolts and all that fancy shit. You don't need that. I mean, yeah, it gives you a nice little indicator that when the fish pulls on your line, the PVC drops to the bottom, it'll stand it straight up and you can say, oh, yep, that one's got a fish on it. But biggest indication I've ever found when I am using these noodles that I've got a fish on is the fish is dragging the damn thing across the lake. So, really not that important to have it watertight and have a piece of rebar in there. Alright, so once you got the noodle in there, you go ahead and pull yourself a length, generally about 15, 20 feet, depending on the average depth that you'll be fishing. And you take and fish that through your hole. Now you can put an eyelet on there that's going to help these lines prevent from any tearing, but I haven't had any issues, so I don't even worry about it. And I'm just going to tie a standard fisherman's knot. That's all you need. You can tie a clinch knot, you can tie a Palmer knot, but you don't need that. Just standard fishing knot. Hold her tight. And the tighter you get it, the better it's going to be against preventing it rocking back and forth and rubbing and actually causing frays that might actually prevent you from, or cut the line and whatnot. Now for my leader, I generally only do about a couple feet. The only part this holds is your hook and your weight, so really don't need it that long. So after your leader's tied on to your swivel, you go ahead and attach it to your end of your line that's coming directly off your noodle. Tie your knot on this end. Now you can trim your tag ends. I never do because it's pointless. A fish not going to see that anyway. Alright, then I'm going to take one of my no roll weights here. Thread it on there. And then I'm going to take my circle hook. And it's going to get tied on as well. Once again, knot is always tier's preference. I use a couple different knots when I'm building these. Just depends on which end I'm tying. And it's just ease of use is really all I go by. Using a 65-pound braid, it takes a big fish to break this, so I'm not really worried about what knot's stronger than the other or anything like that. You know, some fishermen will argue, oh, this knot's stronger, but me, you overkill the line, you don't have to worry so much about the knot. And beautiful thing about these right here, now this one's all put together, you see I built that here, and even with the jump cuts, less than 5 minutes, jump cuts just had me editing out my dumb ass fucking not saying what I should say or whatnot. But the beautiful thing about this is you can go ahead and take and when you're not using it, you can wind her up onto your noodle. Don't have to worry about tangles. And go ahead and just hook your hook to the noodle itself, and it stores pretty small. Now, each one of these to build, when you buy the stuff like I did, I had 20-foot piece PVC, a couple of dollar store pool noodles, and then the fishing tackle and all together. Altogether, this here thing cost about $2 to build. Now, I know you could build a milk jug line a lot cheaper, but part of the convenience of these is the size they are for storage. I'm going to be fishing on a kayak tomorrow, and I can fit 20 of these in the milk crate on the back of my kayak. How many milk jugs can you fit in the back of your kayak? So that's just a personal preference over a milk jug. You know, you can build milk jugs cheaper, but these here I can put a lot more on my kayak. I can go drop them going down the river tomorrow, bass fish for a little bit, and pick them up on the way back, and hopefully catch me a mess of catfish so I can fry them bad boys up. Alright, so I had the stuff to make 11 noodles. Actually, I ran out of the spider wire, but I got 8 done. I didn't get these 3 done. I just built them at a later date. You'll kind of see the time lapse of how long it took me. Really not that long. It is 1 o'clock now, and I want to say I started all this at noon. My boy's going out in the shed right now to get my fishing crate so I can show you how that's set up. But all in all, these aren't going to take up much space, and it's actually a pretty clever idea. Another thing I wanted to show is nothing really goes to waste. So this is a waterproof case I keep my phone in. Of course, I keep my phone for taking pictures or, you know, case of emergency, but just a little leftover piece of noodle I had, a little bit of parachute cord, or as we call it, the military 550 cord on there. These waterproof cases do float, but floating in the water, this is a lot harder to see than this. So just a little float. keep you from losing your stuff. Alright, so I wanted to show you my crate here. As you can see, all the noodles fit perfect into the crate. Along with a couple of tackle trays. Generally I've got about 3 that I keep with me. Some extra terminal tackle, and of course my bass fishing gear. Now when this thing's strapped into the crate, got a couple of rod holders on the back of the yak, and instead of buying some expensive yak gear rod leashes, I just clip these D-rings on there. It works outstanding, and then of course they're tied off to the crate. Then I got this PVC pole that you see right here. I actually got to put a mount on it, but it's got this little loop of 550 cord right here that I'll hook on a little lantern if I'm fishing at night. That way I meet the 360 light requirement. And then I'll also put a little mount on there for my action cameras, and if you've seen any of my previous fishing videos, you'll know that it gets a nice good overhead shot. And of course I've got a action camera mount on the front of the kayak. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys check in on us tomorrow when we're dropping these in the Cowhouse River on Fort Hood and doing some bass fishing. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You can also follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching Tack Life Outdoors, and as always, attack life, never apologize.